Welcome back, everybody. This is Family Time 244. We're talking about something I call framing, which is using our perspectives to our advantage. Understanding that everything in our lives is filtered through our perspectives. It reminds me of there's the old story about the seven blind mice. Maybe you read the children's book version when you were a kid. But the story says that there's these seven blind mice, and they all happen upon an elephant. And the first mouse, he comes up and he touches the elephant's leg. And he says, "Well, it's a pillar. Must be." And the second mouse, he comes up and he touches the elephant's trunk and he says, "No, no, it's a snake." The third mouse, he touches the elephant's tusk and he thinks it's a spear. The fourth mouse, he feels the elephant's ear and he thinks it's a fan. The fifth mouse touches the elephant's tail and thinks it's a rope. And the sixth mouse touches the elephant's side and thinks that it's a cliff or a wall. Then eventually a seventh mouse comes along. And this mouse travels all over the elephant, from front to back, the leg, the tail, the tusks, the trunk, everything. And it determines that it's an elephant. What this story is about, the moral, is that a lot of times we only see part of something. And we make an assumption based on the little bit of information that we have and based on our own perspective. It's important to go through the process of trying to examine things from all angles. And that's difficult sometimes, especially with other people and our emotions. We talk about that a lot. We talk about empathy a lot. And that's a difficult thing. Really trying to see things from someone else's perspectives, really trying to understand someone else's feelings about a situation. That can be challenging because we view everything through our own lens. But I want you to understand that can also be a tool. If we recognize that we're really only seeing things through our perspective, framed in our experiences, we can start to reframe things. I call it reframing because I literally think in like visual arts, like if you're taking a photo or something, it's literally how you frame things. Like, where do you want to place the camera? Where do you want to put the subject matter in the frame? And that makes a difference. It changes the experience you're going to have. We can do that in life once we can kind of start to let go that things aren't necessarily good or bad. Things aren't necessarily exactly the way we perceive them. That if we have an opinion, someone else has an opinion about the same thing, that there's a lot of gray area in between, and reality might exist somewhere in that gray area. If we're willing to accept that, to acknowledge that, then we can start to reframe things. So everything that we once viewed as a challenge, as an obstacle, as a negative stressor, we can reframe as something potentially positive, as an opportunity to learn and grow. That's a lot easier said than done. Even I was thinking this last week. Like we moved over to the new weight room, the new sports performance center, which is super exciting. And I was really, really excited for it. But also I was kind of stressed out, just being quite honest, because there was a lot of stuff to get ready, and I wanted it to be great for everybody coming in the first day. And it was pretty chaotic that first day. Just it's new equipment, and how do we want to get everybody through here and make it as efficient as possible? And I was pretty stressed. But then, taking a step back and being like, okay, how fortunate is this that we have so many people coming to the weight room, which is what I want to. How wonderful is that the problem I have, not really a problem, or the thing I'm stressing about is making sure this is perfect for everybody, because I appreciate all the work that you put in, and wanting to make sure things work smoothly and it's the best it possibly can be for all of you. And it's like, okay, wow, how lucky am I for that? How lucky are we that we have so much support that we were able to do something like this? That's reframing, is being able to push the brakes a little bit and step back and be like, ooh, okay, I'm falling into this right now. I'm looking at it like, oh, I got to do this and this and this and this and this, and that's stressing me out. Or take a step back and be like, what a privilege it is to be able to do these things because we're making this transition over to this great place. And you can do that with anything in life, with your relationships and things like that. Be like, okay, well, this is my perspective. That's maybe that person's perspective. I maybe got upset about this thing, but maybe that's not what they meant. At least acknowledging that, like, okay, my perspective is different than this person's. Now, can I detach a little bit? Just take a little step back to kind of get a bird's eye view, and then say, okay, maybe I can see this, and we can come at it from a different angle. So that's what I want you to think about this week. I want you to take some situation, and especially one that's maybe has been stressful to you, and then I want you to try to step back and reframe it a little bit. And even if doing this reframing exercise, you're like, it doesn't really actually make me feel better in the moment, you have to practice. You have to go through the steps. And it's like learning any skill. You're not going to be very proficient at it at first. You have to like deliberately do it intentionally to begin with, and then eventually it becomes more of an automatic response. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to build those reps. All right, until next time, much love.